Hi, Hannah, welcome to the show. Really nice to have you here. We're going to be talking all things tax and accounting. Would you like to give a little introduction as to who you are within the Creative Zone team?
Sure. Nice to meet you, Kelly. I'm
Nice
glad
to
to be
meet
here. So my name is Hannah Sparrow. I'm part of Creative Zone Tax and Accounting. I'm head of sales there, and I also am a senior tax and accounting advisor.
So it's a bit of a hot topic just now, corporate tax.
Yeah.
Perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about Creative Zone's tax and accounting.
Sure. So we are the tax and accounting department within the Creative Zone group, and we're essentially there to help any business or individual who needs tax and accounting advice. So we also do compliance services as well. So essentially anything that you would need from a financial point of view, we're there to help and support those businesses or individuals.
Why do you think someone should outsource their tax and accounting? I do. I know it's not my preferred area. I'm not the best at it, so I always believe get experts in to help you where maybe you don't excel at. But what else would you say in that front?
Let's use an example, right? So let's say you're a new business, cash flow maybe isn't quite there yet, and you need someone to give you that advice. As well, you need someone to give you bookkeeping, and then you need someone to attest certificates. So for all three of those things, you might need a different person. So attesting certificates, you would need someone that is a certified chartered accountant. For taxes, you might need a tax agent representative. And then for bookkeeping, you just need a generic bookkeeper. So if you needed all three of those services and you're a brand new business, this could be very costly. As well, it might be very difficult to find those individuals under one roof. So if you outsource, then essentially you have that. You have different professionals that you can use at any time. It's more cost effective. As well, you can have multiple sources that you can refer to. So there will be people checking your work. It won't just be one individual. So there's many benefits to having that. Because essentially you can have a lot of people under one roof and it's a lot cheaper.
So can you work with clients that are not Creative Zone? And then what if clients are Creative Zone? What are some of the benefits to coming to you for tax and accounting?
We have a lot of external clients, but the majority of our clients are Creative Zone. Okay. And with that, if you are a Creative Zone client, once you set up a business with us, then you do get a free 30-minute tax and accounting consultation.
So let's just take that new person who's starting out who maybe doesn't know the difference between VAT and corporate tax. Can you explain a little bit more on that?
VAT is an indirect tax, and this is on the sales of goods and services. This is taxed at 5% and it can be 0% as well. Whereas corporate tax is a direct tax. This looks at the profits of the business and it can be taxed from 0% to 9%.
And what would you say would be the benefits for someone doing their bookkeeping to, help with corporate tax?
Bookkeeping is mandatory for all businesses in the UAE, so it's very important to have. But with the corporate tax laws now coming into effect, you need to submit financial statements when you do your corporate tax return. So when you submit your financial statements, this needs to be in accordance with the tax and accounting regulations, and you would need to show your profit and loss statement. So with the profit and loss statement, this is what will tell the authorities how much tax you need to pay.
So what sort of threshold are we looking at? How much as a business do we need to be bringing in before we need to be thinking about corporate tax?
Sure, so there is a threshold of 375,000 dirhams, and this is in profits. So once your business hits that in profits, any amount above this will be taxed at 9%. However, there are some incentives that can be used so that you still benefit from the 0%.
Does corporate tax on the mainland setup versus on a free zone, how does that affect businesses differently, or does it?
It can with corporate tax. So with free zones, for example, if you were to do free zone to free zone business, you benefit from 0%. Whereas in the mainland, you don't have these advantages. But again, within the mainland, there are certain incentives which are also available in the free zone. So it's really important when you're starting a business just to weigh up these options, talk to the advisors, and as well use the 30-minute free consultation with us so that we can have a look at this for you as well.
Does corporate tax offer any relief to small businesses?
Yeah, so that is an SME relief,
Okay.
which is available to small businesses.
Yeah.
And this looks at the turnover of the business. So if your turnover is under a certain amount, then you can apply for an SME relief and potentially benefit from not paying any corporate tax.
Okay, now I did read that there was potentially an option, and you might need to explain this a little bit more, to have 0% corporate tax. So how do you become someone who qualifies for that?
Sure, so there's certain qualifying income.
Yeah.
So if you fall within the qualifying income and the activity, then you can benefit from 0%. As well, like I said, if you're doing Freezone to Freezone business, you can benefit from the 0%. And then as well, if you apply for certain relief, then if you qualify for this, you won't have to pay corporate tax. So essentially it will be 0% as well.
So could you maybe give some ideas on sort of what businesses or industries can qualify for this?
If you are manufacturing, for example, in the UAE, you are manufacturing goods, then you can benefit from qualifying activity, which means that you would be 0%. As well, if you are a business that has a turnover of less than 3 million, then again you can apply for a relief, which means that you can benefit from not paying any corporate tax. So there are a few different incentives and benefits that you can be exempt from corporate tax, but it's very important that you speak to an advisor and have a full tax assessment so that you can understand this, because currently it's a bit of a maze understanding the new laws and the regulation.
So as a small business owner, they might be getting a bit nervous about this coming in. So how would you say they could best prepare, other than, taking the opportunity to have a call if they're a client to find out? What else could they be doing to prepare?
Like I mentioned, we have a corporate tax assessment. With this assessment, we look at your business activity, where you are transferring funds, if you have other businesses around the world. We'll look at everything in terms of your structure and understand what the impact would be for you for your corporate tax requirements. As well, we do have a pre-set up consultation. So if you are looking to set up a business but you are concerned that there might be lots of taxes or things that you need to understand, we can do a pre-set up consultation and look at this for you and help you again assess your business and what's best for you.
So is it mandatory that all businesses need to register for corporate tax?
Yeah, it is mandatory. So for most businesses, regardless of whether you are a mainland or a free zone, you have to register for corporate tax, and registration is open now. So it's advised that all businesses do this.
So is there a date or a deadline that you have to register for your corporate tax?
Currently, there isn't a deadline. So at the time we're doing this recording, there isn't. But I do think this will be announced going forward. And when there is a deadline in place, if you have not registered for corporate tax, then you could get a penalty for this. So it's really important
to do it now.
That companies do it now.
Perfect. So how would someone get in touch if they want to know more about getting support with their tax and accounting?
So you can get in touch directly with me, which is hannah@czta.ae.
Thank you so much for taking the time today and answering some of my questions.
No problem. I hope that you better understand corporate tax now.
Absolutely. Thank you.